Total information control. A society where the internet doesn't exist, only state-run illusions of it. North Korea isn't just offline, it's disconnected from the concept of being online. The average citizen doesn't know what YouTube or Google means because they've never seen it. Their entire internet experience is Kwangmyong, a sealed-off intranet filled with propaganda pages that look like early 2000s websites. A few thousand elites have computers, mostly used to browse state-curated material. Every website, every email, every image is vetted or created by the government. Turkmenistan follows closely. The only internet provider is state-run, and most popular platforms, WhatsApp, Facebook, YouTube, are permanently blocked. It's not just about censorship, it's about never giving people a taste of free expression to begin with. The idea of questioning the state simply doesn't exist because the vocabulary, the references, and the digital pathways have been erased from daily life. Freedom of information isn't restricted, it's erased from the collective imagination. Government-monitored internet. You can go online, but you're never alone. The government is always watching. China's internet looks modern on the surface. Short videos, search engines, social media, but everything is a controlled substitute. Google becomes Baidu. Facebook becomes WeChat. Wikipedia disappears entirely. What's left is a walled garden, filtered by the Great Firewall. Certain keywords, Tiananmen, Taiwan independence, are instantly deleted. Criticize the government and your post vanishes, sometimes followed by a knock on your door. In Iran, the playbook is similar. Facebook and Twitter were banned in 2009. When protests break out, the government slows or shuts down internet access nationwide. There's even a national intranet, the National Information Network, with pre-approved news, services, and shopping. It's like browsing the internet in a house full of cameras and locked doors. You think you're exploring freely, but you're really walking a monitored hallway. Propaganda-driven ecosystem. The information flows, but it's poisoned, carefully manipulated by the state. In Russia, people have internet access, multiple news channels, even Western platforms, but the truth competes with an overwhelming storm of distortion. Major outlets like RT and Channel 1 are directly controlled by the Kremlin. During the Ukraine war, the narrative was unified. Russia is liberating the region. No debate, just repetition. Across news, YouTube, Telegram, even Instagram influencers, online, thousands of fake accounts swarm comment sections with pro-Russia talking points. In the West, these bots stir division by pushing both sides of hot-button issues, climate change, race, elections, just to inflame chaos. Hungary took a quieter route. Under Viktor Orban, the government didn't ban press. They bought it. Step by step, they gained influence over newspapers, radio stations, and online outlets. Legally, freedom of the press exists, but in practice, critical voices lose funding, licenses, or access to information. You're allowed to speak, but good luck being heard over the chorus of carefully crafted noise. Controlled but pluralistic. There's independent media, but it's always walking a legal tightrope. Singapore's press landscape looks modern, even diverse, but behind the scenes, laws like the POFMA Act give the government sweeping power to label content as falsehood. If you publish something the state disagrees with, you may be legally required to post a correction written by the government. The Online Citizen, one of the most independent platforms, lost its license after repeated clashes with regulators. What's clever is that the control isn't brute force, it's administrative, legal, polished. Authorities don't jail you for disagreeing, they simply make it too risky to do so openly. In Turkey, things went from pluralistic to pressured in just a few years. After the failed coup in 2016, hundreds of journalists were detained, newsrooms were raided, entire TV channels disappeared overnight. Even now, during politically tense periods, Twitter and WhatsApp get throttled or blocked. This level creates an illusion of choice. The information looks free, but the moment you cross the line, the system tightens its grip. You can speak out, but there's no safety net if things go wrong. India has a vast, loud, digital public square. YouTubers, journalists, and bloggers investigate everything from corruption to crumbling infrastructure. But the more critical you are, the more dangerous it gets. Several journalists have been jailed under broad charges like inciting communal disharmony, a vague legal umbrella used to silence dissent. It's not always the state that punishes. Spyware like Pegasus has been found on journalists' phones. Online mobs target anyone who challenges the majority narrative. Death threats are common. Police often ignore these attacks or quietly enable them. In Malaysia before 2018, social media was technically free, but critics of the ruling party were arrested using old colonial-era laws like the Sedition Act. The government didn't need to ban platforms. It just made being outspoken legally and socially hazardous. At this level, you have a voice, but using it means putting a target on your back. Partially protected freedom. The laws say you're free, but the reality still has blind spots. In the United States after September 11th, fear reshaped the entire conversation around privacy and information. The Patriot Act gave intelligence agencies sweeping access to personal data, often without needing a judge. Whistleblowers like Edward Snowden exposed these programs and ended up exiled or imprisoned. Yes, major newspapers like the New York Times still break controversial stories, but national security now comes with invisible boundaries. Freedom exists, but you often don't know when you've crossed the line until it's too late. In South Korea, freedom of information is protected, but only to a point. It's risky to report on the military or speak too freely about North Korea. And while the press is independent, defamation laws can be used in civil court, which means a powerful person can sue a reporter simply for being offended, even if the facts are accurate. As a result, many journalists self-censor. This level offers a legal safety net, but it's got holes you don't see until you fall through. Strong legal protection. The system is built to keep power in check, not protect it. Germany has some of the strongest protections for the press in the world. It's written into the constitution. Journalists cannot be forced to reveal sources, even in court. There's also a national law that requires transparency in public data, from government budgets to environmental reports. Public officials can't just say no comment and move on. The media landscape is wide-ranging, combative, and well-funded. You'll see critical headlines about the government, the opposition, and everything in between. The government doesn't interfere, even when it's uncomfortable. Canada is similar. Any citizen can request government documents under the FOI Act, and the government must respond. Most agencies are required by law to release even internal communications unless they deal with national defense. This level doesn't just permit freedom, it supports it, legally and culturally. The system assumes that power must always be questioned. Radical transparency culture. Freedom of information isn't just a right, it's a core part of national identity. Estonia doesn't just tolerate scrutiny, it automates it. Every budget, every public tender, every government salary, it's all posted online, in real time. You can log in and see where every tax dollar is going. Estonian citizens even vote online, track legislation, and access their digital medical records from a single e-government portal. Bureaucracy barely exists. Transparency is treated as infrastructure. This isn't a utopia, it's design. When the Soviet Union collapsed, Estonia had the chance to rebuild from scratch, and they chose a future-proof government that behaves more like open-source code than a fortress of secrecy. In Iceland, after the devastating 2008 financial crisis, trust in leadership collapsed, so citizens decided to rewrite their constitution on Facebook. For real, anyone could comment, suggest changes, or propose clauses. It wasn't perfect, but it set a new bar for openness. Today, the Icelandic National Assembly live streams all its meetings, ministers have public calendars, and citizens don't just access public data, they participate in shaping it. This final level isn't just about access, it's about culture, a culture that expects institutions to be transparent by default, and a government that treats its people not as subjects, but as co-authors.